Your next hour's booked, because The View is live. Debatable strategies. As the Democrats prepare to dig in for the second round of debates, Obama's former chief of staff has a grim warning about how they're in danger of talking Americans into voting for Trump. Shortcomings? As the president continues his attack on the Baltimore congressman, why are Republicans still defending Trump, including one of Cummings' closest allies in Congress?
You're one of my best friends.
And Idris Elba talks about spending summer in the fast lane.
I'm Black Superman.
And taking a trip down the aisle. Here come Hot Topics with Whoopi, Abby Huntsman, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Meghan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
So we walked out to Old Town Road by Lil Nas X to celebrate the fact that it has just broken the record for the longest running #1 hit on Billboard's Hot 100. So I guess all the critics were wrong. It didn't hurt him coming out. Nobody is freaked out that this is a country song. Country folks love it. Soul folks love it. Rappers love it. Everybody loves it. So everybody was wrong. So put him on the cover of Billboard.
Yeah. Absolutely.
With the caption.
Absolutely.
With the caption that says, "We were wrong." Or "We was wrong," whatever you like. Because they really, you know, predicted all this doom and gloom, and it's been nothing but joyful noise from this kid. I'm so
They keep remixing it, and every remix is a little better. Like, they did it with Billy Ray Cyrus. Now they have one with Mason Ramsey, who's the little Walmart kid that, like, sang the country music, and every single one gets better.
It's fantastic.
It's so good.
So as the Democrats prepare to face off in the second round of the presidential debates, Obama's former chief of staff, Rahm Emanuel, wrote them a little note with a warning that if they don't try to appeal to moderate voters, they're in danger of giving the election away. So the question is, what are people expecting this round? More attacks? Are there going to be more candidates coming out of the woodwork? Because, you know, we had the first thing, and then there was a new guy, and I just don't know what's happening. You think people are going to go for the big soundbite, or are we going to actually hear something that's meaningful for people?
I think he has a point, though, because Joe Biden's numbers have gone back to where they were before the last debate. So people like his philosophy better than the others. It seems Americans are responding to Joe Biden, who's more of a moderate Democrat. So he may have a point, because that seems to be where the numbers are right now.
Well, I think it's definitely going to be a death match for some of these candidates, because there are about 20 now, and the criteria for the September debates is going to be much more stringent. And so unless they have that big moment tonight, they are not going to make it to the next
Do you really think Joe Biden needs a big moment? I don't think he even needs it.
For tonight, there are going to be several of them. And I think actually Wednesday as well that are going to need that big moment. I'm not talking about maybe the Mayor Petes or the Elizabeth Warrens or the Joe Bidens or the Kamalas, those maybe even the Beto's. But when you're looking at this many people, I mean, you know, Marianne Williamson, well, I don't know.
She needs to have some aromatherapy tonight. Like some candles, put some candles out. Everybody can do the downward dog.
They need to, they're going to be some that need those big moments, I think, to become memorable.
Yeah.
She's very entertaining. Yeah, I mean, Rahm is one of the great political architects of our time. He helped Obama get elected, and he said, before our party promises health care coverage to undocumented immigrants, a position not even Ted Kennedy took, let's help the more than 30 million Americans who are a single illness away from financial ruin. Before we start worrying about whether the Boston bomber can vote, let's stop states that are actively trying to curtail voting rights of citizens. It's a very moderate lane that he's in. I will say tonight's debate, I think it's only really Bernie and Elizabeth Warren. We're going to see if they're going to cage match it out together, because they're sort of in the same lane and they're sort of going for the same voter. And then the next night you have Joe Biden, I don't know if we're going to show the next night, and Kamala, which we're going to see if she is going to be able to get the surprise hit that she did last time, because you can only pull a surprise once, when she went after Joe Biden over the busing controversy, and then she immediately put on Twitter T-shirts with her face on it. So it'll be interesting to see. I think actually she's the one that they're all going to be gunning for tomorrow night.
Look, there's an interesting poll number that I saw. 15% of white blue-collar women, less than 15%. In other words, it went down 15%. Those people who voted for Trump last time. So white blue-collar women are turning on Trump.
Yeah.
Well, it may be because
that's a very interesting poll.
Well, it may be because their money's getting hit. I mean, you know, when you suddenly discover that you don't have any money to write off, so you don't get anything back on your taxes. You can't send your kid to camp. You can't send them to an amusement park for a couple of days. You can't do a whole bunch of stuff that you've been used to being able to do. And now, you know, you have less money than you had when you started. When he came in, you got less than you have. So I think people are starting to say, well, wait a minute, you are supposed to be, you know, I don't know why y'all believed him, but
they did.
You were supposed to be the great businessman. You know, people are now starting to go, well, wait a minute, these tariffs are kicking our behinds here.
Well, they are thinking about, I think, a rise in health costs. I think they're thinking about a rise in housing. I think they're thinking about a rise in education.
About a rise in food,
and childcare.
Get your food. You know, I mean, it's
cars.
like
cars. And when you I said it yesterday, 9 out of the 10 poorest states are red states. And I think those folks that are Trump voters really thought that he would do better by them. And because he hasn't, those are the voters that may be able to be targeted by these moderate policies.
It seems to be getting to them that the real people who benefited from his tax plan were the very wealthy. And I think it's penetrating now a little bit.
And healthcare, because if you look at it, while 44% of Democrats want this mix of maybe a government plan as well as being able to keep your private insurance, you look at the Republican plan, there really is no plan except for roll back the Affordable Care Act, which provided millions in coverage.
Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, if you are somebody who makes a very specific amount of money, this is not helpful to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Say it?
Well, the 20 candidates aren't helpful?
No. All of this drum and nonsense this man has put people through. It doesn't matter whether you're left or right, is what I'm saying. If you make a very specific amount of money, you're having a harder time than you had 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Even though they say the economy is booming.
The economy is booming, but see, that's why I say, listen, how come nobody ever picked up Andrew Yang's idea? How come
By the
no
way,
one ever
he has already qualified for the next round of debates.
I'm very happy.
Which is fascinating. And I told you I have a close friend who is like, should be president of the Yang Gang. Like, texts me his stuff every day. He could be a fringe candidate that is resonating in a really interesting way. And his coalition are techies, progressives, libertarians, Trump devotees, Twitter trolls, and anti-circumcision crusaders. So people who hate circumcision,
and me.
That is your candidate.
What does he have against circumcision?
He hates circumcision. He came on and talked about it.
Well, I just think that, you know, if somebody says that because you know, circumcision isn't for everybody.
Yes.
And
Of course not.
He's a proponent of freedom of choice.
Yeah.
Well, you should have a choice, of course.
Yes, you should have
freedom of choice.
But, you know, it takes a minute. Believe me, I have a lot to say on this, but I won't. But
I just like a candidate that's coming out of left, and I mean that like.
I like somebody who makes sense. This kid said, "Why are we not taxing Amazon?
Yeah.
Why are we not taxing these giant corporations?" He says, this kid says, it's not my idea, please.
Yeah.
He says, if we tax these big corporations, you could give every American $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And that would take away a lot of the, you know, what am I going to do about my taxes? What am I going to do about this? What am I going to tell?
Someone like him and Kristen Gillibrand, Tim Ryan, people who are holding office haven't qualified because they haven't met the expectations. And someone from, again, basically nowhere in politics already has made the basis that he wants to. I mean, it's pretty interesting. I will say Congresswoman Gabbard, I think, is also the person to watch in tomorrow night's debate because she's already come out very aggressively against Kamala, saying that she doesn't think she's qualified to be president, and I think they're also going to have
a lot of these people would be great
moments.
cabinet members.
Yes.
That's the thing.
I just think
starting with Bill de Blasio, who's on Friday.
I just think that somebody who says here's a plan that will work for everybody. Here's what we should be talking about. Because, you know, we can fetch about the bonehead in office all day long. But these guys, this young man had a plan that I just thought, why is it taking this long to get this done?
And I think his economic message that the economy, the boost in economy doesn't really filter down to the everyday person's pocket is a very important
Are you guys
message.
joining the Yang Gang, too? Not me, not at all, but
I think it's
No, I'm not joining anybody. I'm saying there's a great idea on the table that would work for everybody.
from the Yang Gang.
You know, listen,
for
if it's a
Cass.
great idea, I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is, as long as it makes sense. If you make sense to me and you can fix stuff that's happening in the towns that I see every day, I'm going to listen to what you have to say. Pay attention to this kid's plan. It's a good one. We should be saying, why isn't this happening? Yes, I know we got to go. We'll be right back.
Okay, so you know these ladies aren't afraid to voice their views.
Proud of it.
But now it's time for you to voice yours. So grab your phone and join the conversation.
Twitter's gonna go wild.
We want to hear your take on hot topics.
Have you been reading what's on Twitter?
And don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our podcast on any podcast app. And of course, watch us weekdays on ABC. Still ahead, Idris Elba on rockin' Dwayne Johnson in their summer blockbuster and going on the prowl in the star-studded big screen version of Cats.
Hey, welcome back. So, you know whose attacks continue on Baltimore Congressman Elijah Cummings, and people have been waiting for Republican Congressman Mark Meadows to speak out, who Cummings passionately defended in the past. Meadows broke his silence yesterday, saying Elijah's not a racist. I'm friends with both you-know-who and Elijah Cummings. I know them both well, and neither is a racist. Kind of odd support.
Yeah, you know, yesterday I said to you that I didn't think black people could be racist. And I got slammed, you know, by Fox and whatever and other places because they think that I'm wrong on that. But when I talk about racism, I talk about a system of racism in this country that affects housing, that affects politics, that affects education. It's a system of racism. And if you are a minority in this country, you are more a victim of racism. So it's hard to be a racist when you are a victim of racism.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Well, that's
Did
right.
they not understand the point?
That's the exact
They
definition.
don't understand the difference between racism and bigotry. That black people can be bigoted like anybody else.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about racism in this country, until black people are running everything,
We came close.
for one shining moment, that was Camelot.
And until there are no systems in
And
place.
the systems are what we're talking about. And they just went after me, and I wanted to clarify that for people who don't understand the concept of racism.
But that's the very definition of racism.
Do tell.
It's practiced in the, here, I'll read it to you.
Yes.
It's a form of racism expressed in the practice of social and political institutions, reflected in disparities regarding wealth, income, criminal justice, employment, housing, health care, political power, and education, among other factors.
Yeah.
That is the system of racism. And white people benefited from, to a large extent, black people do not benefit from the large extent. So it's hard to say that Elijah Cummings, and this idea that, oh, I say that Elijah Cummings is not a racist, Mark Meadows. Yeah, we know that, okay, Mark?
Yeah.
You know, find some testicularity and stand up for what's right.
Yeah.
I'd like to know when these Republicans, not you, when the Republican leadership is going to stand up. I mean, do they have to wait till David Duke is part of the cabinet? When will you speak up against what's going on in this country?
Well, they're not going
save
to.
it
Not leadership.
from itself?
They're not going to, because Mark Meadows' response is sort of that there are fine people on both sides. I mean, right? That was the response.
The Judy Collins argument.
Yeah, and
she's looked at life from both sides now.
And I really think that that's what this election is about, and I hope the Democrats have the cojones to make that the front issue, the front and center issue, because I think this election...
Say it again. Make what the front?
the morality issue. This is about whether or not you will continue to vote for and support a president who is a racist, who is a misogynist,
Who's killing the environment.
who is killing the environment, who is putting children in cages, who is separating families, who is dividing our country. If you are going to vote for that person and you are not going to speak out against racism, you are complicit in what he is doing to this country, period. That is what your America looks like. He only represents some Americans, not all.
And a lot of people are saying, well, my 401k is better. One of my cousin's kids said that.
Then that's where your moral compass is.
Well, yeah, and also, you can't eat money. At the end of the day, when there's no air and there's no water, you will not be able to eat your 401k, all right?
It's a moral choice. It's a moral choice.
That's it.
All right. You know, I've been saying this since you know who got in, so.
One thing about you, never said his name. I salute you.
I try not to.
I salute you for that.
I try not to.
Yeah.
Well, because, you know, listen, I've sort of been around a little bit at a time, like yourself, and we've had presidents that we don't like. But there's never been a question about who they are as Americans.
Right.
We might not agree with them, might agree really heartily. I just, you know, I didn't like that somebody started out with a negative.
Yes.
You know, you can say I didn't like the country the way it was being run, but you can't start out by saying it's them.
Yeah.
Because at some point, all of them is us.
Let me ask you something.
All of us, women, you know, gay people, straight people, it's all of us. So that really kind of put my behind out of kilter.
Well, that's what I loved when Obama, during his speech, he said something like, and I'm paraphrasing, some of you didn't vote for me, but I will be the president to you too.
Right.
So it was like embracing everyone. It was that notion. And this president just seems to want to be the president of some people. He certainly doesn't want to be the president of those people in West Baltimore.
I want to ask you a question. When he said today that all of this bigotry and this attacking Baltimore and attacking Elijah is working for him politically, isn't that an insult to the people who support him? In other words, what I'm saying to you, he's saying to his base, this is working for me and for you, meaning you're bigoted like me, you're a racist like me. Well, I think it's so insulting to people. It's
like saying, I think one of you said, what are those people who are sitting behind him going to think of what they're seeing when they see themselves behind him going, whatever they were screaming?
Yes, we talked about that
yeah, we talked about it. But you know what? It's a never-ending thing, and we'll be back.
Yeah.
Summer fun still blazing at viewyourdeal.com. We partnered with vendors for at least half off this season's essentials. So get to viewyourdeal.com now.
Hello. Welcome back. At the signing ceremony for the 9/11 Victims Compensation Fund extension yesterday, I have to ask this question. What does that mean, extension? I thought it was signed in, it was done. That it would, you would...
I guess they had
to extend the bill. Yeah. There was a bill in place, but they had to extend the money.
So is there a finite, is the bill not a finite bill?
No, they just get it till the end.
Now it is.
Now.
Okay, great. I was looking at it and I thought, wait, maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Well, you know who could not resist making himself part of this. Take a look.
Many of those affected were firefighters, police officers, and other first responders. And I was down there also. But I'm not considering myself a first responder. But I was down there. I spent a lot of time down there with you.
God. I don't think they consider you one either. Many first responders who were down there every day seriously doubt that he spent significant time down there. Is this going to be another one of those things where we're just like, and you were there too? He's like Zelig.
I know.
He's like everywhere that, you know, oh yeah, the train was, I was there.
Yeah.
You know, oh yeah, I was down in I was there too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what the hell? Because on September 11, 2001, he did a radio interview after the towers fell, and this was his big takeaway. Take a listen.
40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually, before the World Trade Center, was the tallest. And then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest.
Oh, God, mine's bigger than yours. It's all about you-know-what.
It's crazy.
That's macabre, though.
It is. It's insane.
By the way, it says here that he was not the tallest. There was another building taller than his.
Really?
So even lies about that.
And
Look, over the 4th of July, I was in bed with my husband, and an alert came up of Louis Alvarez, who was the 9/11 first responder who petitioned in front of Congress, and he died. And he had done an interview with Shep Smith on Fox News, where he was talking about how his son wasn't going to have a father, and his son deserved to have a father. He was only 53 years old. I know I talk about my dad a lot, but being someone who's in their 30s that lost their father, I could not stop crying. I cried for probably and it's not about me, but I think of his son almost every day now. And to sit there and act like our president has any kind of experience like the Alvarez family and what they just went through and are going through. And by the way, if you see pictures of him, he was only 53 and he looked very sick, very ill. The cancer that he had was very dangerous. So totally, if we could just have some respect for people who did the hardest jobs on one of our horrific days in history. And can I just say, my heart and all our hearts really go out to that family. I really do think of them almost daily right now. And all of them, obviously.
The fact that he's trying to co-opt heroism is unbelievable. And it's something he does.
Cadet Bone Spur.
Yes, it's something he does over and over again. He's a pathological liar, and it's another thing that I hope that people point out and just don't forget. Because you know who was there the very next day after 9/11? I hope we have this picture, because do we have it? Hillary Clinton was there. She was there the very next day. Rudy Giuliani was there the very next day. They were actually there. Governor Pataki was there the very next day. He wasn't there, as far as I could tell. He wasn't there the very next day. So he needs to take ownership of the fact that he wasn't there.
Nobody believes that.
I mean,
nobody believes it.
I wonder if people don't believe it.
You know,
I think people will believe that.
Who can say what anyone believes?
I don't know.
Except us. We know that we have to go right now and come right back.
What's up, people? You know, I've had a lot of attention for playing detective, mobsters, aliens, even Asgardians. But none of that compares to the amount of attention I get when I sit down at The View. Up next. Looking forward to it.
Spend a lot of time reading this introduction, but I'd rather not. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of our favorites, the fabulous Idris Elba.
This is good for my ego. This is... The one dude is like, nah, I ain't clapping.
So this okay. So this is the year of Alba.
Yeah.
You know that. I mean, you got this amazing summer blockbuster happening. You're on Vanity Fair. Gorgeous picture, by the way.
Thank you.
Your People magazine's
Very hot.
No facial hair.
People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive.
That's a lot.
It's a lot to live up for.
You DJ'd at Coachella this year.
I did.
It's amazing.
It is your year, man. This is the year of E.
I've been busy. It's been really busy. I mean, I'm so blessed, if I'm honest.
This is what you've been hoping for, right?
This is what we work towards.
That's right.
Yeah, but I've been working in the industry for a long time, and these moments are just big moments, pinnacle moments, you know. I'm excited. It's great.
And you got married this year.
I did.
To your girlfriend, Sabrina.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You're on the cover of every magazine. So,
did you see Twitter? So many people were in mourning.
Really?
I myself wore
like
a
they had a
veil.
shot.
Oh, you didn't. Yeah, Sabrina's backstage. Hey, Sabrina. No, it's been an interesting year. You know, a lot happened.
What made you decide to do it again? Because you'd been married before.
I haven't been married before, and I famously said I wouldn't get married again, but I just, met someone that just opened me up, and, and I'm actually the happiest I've been in a long time. So
That's
good.
nice.
And you said it was love at first sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was love at first sight, yeah.
Where did you exactly meet her?
We met, I was making a movie called Mountains Between Us in Vancouver. I went out on my only day off, true story. It was a Sunday night. I went to this party, and there she was.
Where was this?
It was in Vancouver.
Vancouver, sorry.
Yeah.
I missed that.
And I went to a party called Slow Jam Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, as you do. And there she was. And the rest is history.
Wow.
Wow. And you got married in Morocco, I read.
We did, yeah. Yeah,
Sonny often makes a fool of herself over you. I'm just saying.
Well, look, Sonny wore pink trousers today. I wore pink trousers today just because, I wanted to be,
He called me baby when he came.
I said, what's up, baby?
I didn't
But
mention...
I love his wife.
Yes.
She's great.
I didn't mention
come
that we
before.
hung out when we were in England, when I was last in England, because I knew I would have to hear her.
Oh, really?
Oh, she'll dine out on that a whole year now.
No,
that
we
you
did.
called her baby.
We had a great time. We had a great time.
Well, your daughter was the 2019 Miss Golden Globe ambassador.
Yeah.
An
Beautiful.
incredible honor, obviously. She looks absolutely stunning. What was it like for you to see her up on stage? Because that's a historical thing.
I know, that was a real moment for me, like, I was just, there was, everybody was there. Yeah, she's lovely, and everyone was there in the audience, but I was just watching my daughter, just like, there she is, Of course. It was actually great. She did really good. She was very nervous. She's no, she's not shy. She's just, she had never done anything like that, and all her, favorite stars are in the building. But she was great. I was very proud of her.
Is she an actress as well?
She wants to be an actress.
Wow. Wonderful.
Yeah, she wants to be
Are you happy about that? Do you like that idea?
Yeah, I want her to, do whatever she wants. I think she's going to be a producer. Yeah, she's all about the money, how much box office, the perks. She's just about, I think she'll be a producer.
Wow. Well, you're starring in a new movie, Hobbs and Shaw, which I saw last night, and I loved. You are the villain. You are amazing in it. The Rock is in it as well. Jason Statham is in it. It's the first spin-off from the popular Fast and Furious franchise. We actually, you play Brixton.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's from London.
Yeah,
right?
Brixton Law,
Brixton
that's his
Law.
name, Brixton Law.
But we have a clip. Let's take a look at it.
Oh, there he is. I got him. No, I got him. I got him. I got him. I thought you were strong.
It's so good. But like Whoopi and I was saying, I'll be honest, okay, I wanted to see more of the origin story.
Spin-off, what?
Yeah, just because it's, you have all these special powers and you play the villain, but it was obvious to me that there's a backstory where you're really a good guy. See, I got it, right? Whoopi, origin story, right?
Well, it's the franchise needs an origin story because it's all about cars and fast and moving. It should start with hot rods and back in the 50s and everybody take everybody so that all these kids who grew up to be all of the folks in the film and the franchise have been raised by people that taught them all this stuff. They didn't know it from out of the blue. And then he has an origin story of how they moved him out.
Wow.
And now he's mad. Oh, yeah, I have all his thought.
Yeah, I really was trying
I want to
All my script department.
Yes, I am.
This is how we're going to write this thing.
Are we going to see an origin story? Because I really wanted to know how Brixton became the villain.
Yeah, okay. The truth of the matter is, if the movie does really well,
there will
be another one.
They all do well.
Yeah. Well, they do. They actually do.
Since I was like 15, they're amazing.
But, in transparency, the writers and I have definitely spoken about, and The Rock, because he's a producer, about the possibilities of having a Brixton sideline, an origin story, perhaps a further story. So that'd be great.
Yes!
That, yeah.
You know.
Just putting it out there. You know?
Yeah. Okay. You are also in the much anticipated Cats movie coming out this Christmas. The trailer was recently released and fans went nuts. What can you tell us about it? Because I don't think when people think about Idris Elba, they think about cats.
Yeah, I know. When I was working on Hobbs and Shaw, I told The Rock that I'm going to do Cats next. Oh, man, that was it.
Oh, forget it.
Every time I walked on stage, like, what you doing next, Idris? Cats. You know.
Were you surprised at all the reaction the trailer got?
Yeah, definitely.
It's intense.
Well, you know, the show's like a very famous musical. It's very, very famous. And the fact that they've visualized it into a film is going to be a very special moment. I had to turn into a cat. We went to cat. There's a cat school. I'm not even kidding you. There's cat school.
Really?
There's a lady who teaches human beings how to move like cats.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And we had to take classes.
Did you cough up any, fur balls?
No, I mean, half the time I spent giggling, laughing the whole time. It's like, but I found out some interesting things about cats, about, you know, how they move, how many bones they have in their body.
Wow.
Right on.
I'm allergic to cats. Here's the crazy thing. I'm allergic to cats.
Well, there's always something.
We're not allergic to you.
Hey.
All right.
I'm just going to move over
calm
here.
down, right?
I'm over
There's
here.
no calming down today with him here.
I am the light entertainment. You guys were getting heavy earlier on. It's pretty interesting. I was watching.
But you know what? You're not the light entertainment. You are one of the hardest working actors out there. And so when you come, it's really meaningful because you're not a lightweight.
No.
You're not some, 5-year-old who just got a movie. You're a person who's done the job. You've done the gig. So yay for you.
Oh, right. Thank you.
The new movie Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw is in the theaters now and on IMAX on August 2nd. And we'll be right back, y'all.
This week on The View, Jerry O'Connell is bringing the laughs. Plus, the week's not complete without a sizzling political view, because 2 presidential candidates are making their campaign stops on The View. This week on ABC.
Welcome back. Meghan.
Yes, thank you for letting me do this. So this is not getting enough media attention in my opinion. So there's a man named Alexei Navalny, who is a prominent Putin critic in Russia, who was recently jailed because he, quote, organized an unauthorized demonstration ahead of an opposition protest. And he was just poisoned, and I believe Putin did it, and it's going on a long list of dissidents against Putin who are fighting for democracy in Russia. He is okay right now, allegedly, but he was poisoned in jail by Vladimir Putin. So every time when we talk about why Putin's a bad guy, because anyone who's trying to have any freedom in Russia is poisoned.
No protests allowed.
No protests allowed.
That could happen here. We're not watching.
Support here from the View family as well, and that we are thinking of all the great patriots who are fighting for freedom, including my friend Vladimir Kara-Murza, whose father just passed as well, who's also was poisoned by Putin twice and survived.
Oh. Yeah.
What a guy.
See?
Yeah.
His best friend.
Thank you for letting me. It's just not getting the attention it needs.
It's not getting the attention it needs, and we also need to be paying attention because it is very, very American to protest.
Yes.
This is one of the great freedoms we have. And then there's this. Real Housewives of Atlanta. Nene Leakes posted on Instagram about a debate she was having with her husband after he claimed that when a man cheats, it's because of something his woman isn't doing right. Yeah, okay.
Take that out back and put it down like Old Yeller. I don't have time for that. That's a ridiculous statement to say.
Ridiculous.
I guess that works both ways, though, right?
Yes, it does work both ways.
You know, women cheat also, and so maybe we're not interested in them after a while either. You know, whose fault is that?
You can't blame a woman or a man. Every relationship's different.
Every relationship is different.
I cannot believe that. I mean, well, there is a study that says that the number one reason women cheated was that they felt their partner had stopped giving them the attention they needed, and the top reason men cheated came down to finding a new person attractive.
Well, I think that's too easy. I think that's too easy. You know what?
What about the self-blame?
People cheat because they cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay?
take
And
responsibility.
there are not always reasons, and you'll say, well, why? And they're just, I don't have one.
Women get emotionally involved also because we're the less shallow gender. I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know what you just said, but she's probably right.
We are the less shallow gender because women, a lot of times we're having affairs because it's emotionally fulfilling. Men will go out just, you know, the Johnny Appleseed theory.
I just want to hit and
spread
run.
your sperm all over
That's
the
me.
place.
Well, that's what it's
I don't have-
Well, you're a special
I'm just a
case.
hit and run.
You're a
you know?
special case,
Yeah,
Whoopi.
I am. You know, it's like I don't want you in the house.
Your daughter's right here.
Yes, she knows.
We've had this conversation. She's dying now. That's in it.
Well, you know what? My child knows me better than anybody, and she knows when I'm happy and what makes me happy, and when I'm unhappy, that's when all the dew hits the fan. We'll be right back.
Tomorrow, their pregnant daughter vanished without a trace, and two parents share their desperate search for answers and why they say the police and the media aren't helping them. And as accusations of racism rage in the headlines, ABC News correspondent Lindsay Davis shares her mission to teach children how we're more alike than different.
Hey! I don't know if you know this, but one of the highest-grossing movies of all time, Avengers Endgame, is available on Blu-ray August 13th, but you can digitally download it now, and members of our audience are getting a digital download today. You know, I'm sorry, I like a DVD.
Yeah.
I like a DVD. I need more space to look at stuff. This stuff, looking at stuff on here is too hard for me.
I think that you can put it on your TV. There must be a way. I'm such an idiot.
Yeah.
You can actually
Just
make
two
it go on the
cables
big
and-
TV.
That's why you need young people in your life.
That's true. I know.
Listen, we want you all to have a great day, everybody, and to take a little time to enjoy the view.